swung it down and ran, the pickaxe, ran that sharp edge right through this woman's throat. And then Carla Faye Tucker says that when that point went through that woman's throat, that she experienced a surge of sexual pleasure. Yeah. She got a sexual high out of killing this woman. Well, she was tried, she was convicted, and she was sentenced to death. Now that all of her appeals are exhausted and an execution date has been set, we have people yelling that she should not be executed because she's a woman and she has found God. Be talking about that just a little bit more. Remember yesterday when the big flap came up over the presidential pictures? The smartest woman in the world and Bill Clinton hugging each other on a beach? Well, a couple of things have happened since then. And I theorized, I said yesterday when that first came up, I said, hey, folks, this is all phony. The Clintons are glad that picture got into the newspaper. This is righteous indignation. And as a matter of fact, it may all have been staged. Now, evidently, there are quite a few people out there that think that this whole thing was staged, that they knew their picture was being taken. I'll get into more of that in just a second, because remember the photographer that called us yesterday and said, if this was taken with a telephoto lens, that lens was not on a boat. Remember that gal? She was right. Turns out she was right. So we'll bring you more of that, too. But what is number one on your minds when you are listening to the Neal Boortz Show at this time of the month? By the way, anybody see Ally McBeal last night? You never watched that?
I've never even heard of it.
You need to watch that show, because you kind of remind Royal and me of Ally McBeal.
Is this a good thing?
No, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. The Ooga Chaka Dancing Baby was featured in Ally's. Oh, you had to see it. I can't even begin to explain that. Neal Boortz Show, and here is our own Ooga Chaka Dancing Baby. It's Captain Herb Emery in the Fling Wing.
And it's 8:37, Newstalk 750 WSB, downtown, 7585 northbound, still crowds up, approaching University Avenue for your ride up to Freedom Parkway before things ease up there. Atlanta police are on their way to check a new stall reported 7585 southbound at 14th Street. There is very crowded conditions developing on 85 southbound up around Georgia 400. We have an accident around Lenox Cheshire Bridge to deal with if you're coming in from DeKalb County. Still packed on 400 south out of North Fulton County. 75 southbound, still a slow-go affair with troubles off to the side at Highway 5 at the South Loop and near I-285. First, fast, accurate, Atlanta's best traffic news, Talk 750 WSB.
What makes a great health care plan?
It was gone. A total and complete waste of time on the part of the person that wrote it. So get a life and get out of women's business. It is her decision, not yours. Very simple. We'll be back. It's not a matter that the Episcopal Church or any church should be, deal with your parishioners' spiritual lives and quit screwing around with the Second Amendment to the Constitution. Oh, is it any wonder that so many people who do consider themselves to be Christian and who do consider themselves to have religious feelings and viewpoints want to have nothing to do with religion, as practiced today by people like the Atlanta Diocese, the Episcopal Church? It gets on my nerves, and makes me sorry I was ever even a part of it. Okay, 872-0750, the number, 13 minutes until 9 o'clock. Let's see what is on the phones. The other numbers, 800-WSB-TALK, if you want to call us long distance. Remember, you have to do the 10-digit dialing now, but it's working. People are figuring that out. Telefax is 404-607-8255. So there you go. That covers some of that. Let's check out with Dennis on a car phone. You're on the Neal Boortz Show. Dennis, hey.
Morning.
Yes, sir.
I'm on my third alternative route trying to get to work.
What direction are you coming from?
Well, I'm coming from Conyers, and I'm trying to get to downtown.
Well, isn't it usually better coming from that direction than it is coming out of the north?
Well, it is unless there's a car stalled on I-20. Then, of course, it's backed up to, Augusta.
Yeah.
And, everybody's got to get a look. So now I'm driving down East Ponce de Leon.
Oh, hey, that's great territory.
Hey, let me tell you, it's a great ride. Let me tell you.
Now, lean that seat way back. Put your arm over the, get that gangsta lean going for you down East Ponce, man. Come on.
Oh,
lean way back. As Royal says, smaller target.
Well, the one thing about it is, at least I get to listen to my language tapes a little longer. So I'm learning yet another foreign language.
Which one?
I'm learning Serbo-Croat.
Well, good for you.
Well, I'm into Spanish, and I'm to the point now where I'm pretty fluent in that. So, and I work with a lot of Bosnians, so I figure.
Oh well, yeah. If you're in the Bosnian community, I can understand that.
It's nice to be able to ask them where their toilet is.
So you wanted to comment on the University of Virginia, where they are making sex toys out of Play-Doh.
Yeah, I think the reason you're upset is just because when you went to college, you weren't allowed to play touchy-feely like that.
I went to an all-boys school. I didn't want to play touchy-feely like that. If they'd have had sex education like that at Texas A&M, we'd have been sitting around modeling big penises out of Play-Doh. Never mind.
We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, you take care.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, they divide these sex ed classes at the University of Virginia. They divide them up. Everybody partners off with somebody of the opposite sex. They get a couple of cans of Play-Doh, and evidently you create a little sculpture of what you imagine your partner looks like without clothes on. Which brings us back to last night's Ally McBeal again, but that's another story. Ed, South the Cab, you're next up. 11 minutes until 9 o'clock. Neal Boortz Show. Hey,
we couldn't have made it just a few more minutes without this Play-Doh deal. I mean, oh, my Lord. 75-85 northbound, still a slow-go affair trying to make it up to Ted Turner Stadium in the Freedom Parkway area. Merging madness there. Yeah, and I-20 westbound, the East Expressway, still quite messy for the ride in from Rockdale County as you approach Panola Road headed to I-285 because the earlier accident that have, by the way, been cleared. You're still packed in on 400 southbound. There's a pile of pine straw around the area of North Ridge, and that's what's causing the slowdown this morning out of North Fulton County. At 75 still slows Barrett Parkway for the ride down to I-285. Out of Cobb, first fast, accurate Atlanta's best traffic news. Tech 750 WSB.
Atlanta's Morning News with Scott Slade.
The man seems to be
An
okay.
Atlanta police officer has been jailed.
6.9 grams of marijuana were found on the state senator.
First, fast, accurate. Wake up with Scott Slade. Atlanta's Morning News. News Talk 750 WSB. Depend on it.
Fighting this all along with monthly meetings.
Oh, I know.
And also there is a rally at the state capitol, 9 o'clock Monday morning.
Well, now we don't do PSAs like this. But let me put do you get on the internet?
Don't you have to have hardware before you get software?
Yeah, listen.
Isn't that how it works?
You people that aren't on the internet, you'd better get with it.
I know.
You better get with it. You'd better start budgeting some money. It's as cheap as $300 to start playing around with web TV. So you better get on the old bandwagon there. Now, New York Times today. There's an op-ed piece by William Safire. And since you're interested in this fingerprint thing, I'm going to ask you to listen on the radio, my friend, Joe. Listen on the radio. And here is a little bit of the op-ed piece from William Safire in the New York Times today. He says, in this country, I'm just going to paraphrase and just touch on some of his points. Your right to privacy has been stripped away. You cannot walk into a bank. You can't apply for a job. You can't get on your personal computer without undergoing the scrutiny of strangers. You can't use a credit card to buy clothes to cover your body without baring your soul, he says. Big government is watching like it's never watched you before. First example, encouraged by an act of Congress, Texas and California now demand thumbprints of applicants for driver's licenses, treating all drivers as potential criminals. Well, Safire obviously didn't include Georgia, but Georgia is there too. Then he says, using a phony excuse about airplane security, airlines now demand identification like those licenses to make sure passengers don't exchange tickets to beat the company's rate-cutting promotions. The federal government demands that all employers inform the government of every new person they hire. You didn't know that law went into effect last week, did you, folks? Or the week before last? Every time an employer hires somebody now, they have to send a notification to the Imperial Federal Government of the United States of America that this person has been hired. Name, address, phone number, the whole bit. Sapphire then writes, although it makes it easier to get through tolls at bridges and highways, electric eyes reading license plates help snoopers everywhere follow the movement of every driver and every passenger. And just on and on and on about the way our privacy is being stripped away from us. Bill Sapphire has some suggestions. Here, he says, is how to snatch your identity back from the intruders. Bear with me a second, and I'll read you his suggestions in a second for those of you that are upset over the lack of privacy. And by the way, the answer to that question is 4:20. Every clock in the movie Pulp Fiction is set on the time of 4:20. I don't know why, so don't ask. We'll be back. Neal Boortz on News Talk 750 WSB. See, I'm not going to say anything today, Royal. I'm going to sit here. I'm not going to let you pop one of those jungle fever things on me again like you.
Did you do that? It's obvious.
Like you did
the
yesterday.
fever. It's obvious, man. It's all right. You know, I understand. It's only natural when you see a lovely, tall, vivacious, beautiful sister to want to try and get close to it. And I understand. I feel you, Neil. I can understand where you're coming from. I understand that. But, you know, you're a married man, and you got thick glasses. So,
Oh, now come on.
pretty much out of luck.
Bald-headed white guy with thick glasses.
Yeah,
Don't forget dorky looking.
Yeah, so...
Don't forget dorky looking. So, aren't you going to defend me?
Nah.
Nah. Okay. Okay. 872. I told you I was feeling frisky this hour.
I'll say.
Yeah. 872-0750. Jonathan on the lines right now is going to tell us why in the movie Pulp Fiction all of the clocks are set for 4:20. And why would that be, sir?
Well, Neil, actually, that's because 420 is the police code for the public smoking of marijuana.
Now, where'd you pick up this piece of useless information?
Actually off the internet. It's actually in a lot of music and stuff. It's, I don't know, 420, public code for the smoking of marijuana.
Oh, really? So that is why all the clocks at Pulp Fiction are set for 4:20.
Well, I don't know if that's why, but that's definitely of some significance.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, now, Sesame Street. You a big Sesame Street guy?
Must say I'm not a big Sesame Street guy.
You know who Bert and Ernie are?
Indeed, I do.
Who were they named after?
Gee, that I do not know.
Bert and Ernie on Sesame Street. You don't know who they were named after?
I certainly don't.
On a Canadian $2 bill. Did you know they have a $2 bill in Canada?
I did not know that either.
Yeah, they ought to have a $3 bill in Canada. But anyway, there's a flag flying over the Parliament building on the Canadian $2 bill. Can you describe that flag?
I must say I cannot.
Just some great questions. Just listen in, pal. We'll have some answers for you before the hour's over.
Thanks, Neil.
Yeah, thanks a lot. 872-0750. I didn't know Canada had a $2 bill. We ought to have a $2 bill. We ought to have a $2 bill and get rid of coins. I mean, get rid of the $1 bill. I mean, what can you do with the $1 bill except use the dollar bill, the Boortz dollar bill savings plan? And it buys a cup of coffee in the morning at the Quick Trip. 23 Brian here on a car phone has the answer to that. How you doing, Brian?
Good, Neil. How are you?
Fine.
It's a Wonderful Life. The cop and the taxi driver.
That's right. Bert was the cop. Ernie was the taxi driver in It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay, good.
Now, I got another one for you now.
Okay.
On your telephone keypad, the pound sign. What do you call that?
The pound sign.
No.
It's,
Now, people call it pound.
Tic-tac-toe?
No. It's got a name. What do you call it? Or would you rather try to guess what Charlie Brown's father did for a living?
I'm stuck on both of them.
See, don't you just love listening to the show? I mean, we go from the ridiculous to the ridiculous. Just
I love the trivia.
I do too. I used to do something on the radio called the Impossible Quiz. And it was trivia questions that, I mean, nobody could answer. Trivia questions like, how many calories in a jelly bean?
How about name two of the presidents that were buried west of the Mississippi? There's 5 of them.
Name 2?
2 of the 5.
Richard Nixon.
That's one.
And Lyndon Johnson.
There you go. Truman, Eisenhower, and Hoover.
Well, at least I got two. If you'd have told me to go for three, I'd have been in trouble. I'd have been in deep trouble. Hey, thanks, guy. Oh, here, I'll hit you with one more. Are you gone yet?
No, I'm
here. I'll hit you with one more. This is fun. Are you relatively good at math?
Relatively.
Okay. You remember the old 33 1/3 RPM albums, record albums?
Yes.
Okay. You've got a disc, a 33 1/3 album. It has music on both sides of it. It takes 20 minutes to play one side. It takes 30 minutes to play the second side. It's revolving at 33 1/3 RPM. How many grooves are there on the record?
There's one.
No, you're wrong. There's two. I told you.
No, it's front and back.
I told you it was a two-sided.
You got me.
Okay, guy. We'll see you later.
Thanks.
Yeah, bye. Yeah, there's two grooves. They go from the outside all the way into the center. All right, folks, back in a moment. Neal Boortz. He had it. He had the right idea, but I nailed him on a technicality. We'll be back in a moment. The Neil Fraser 2, and hang up. Get your kids to show you how to disable a cookie and download free software that lets you surf the net in anonymity. Number 4, persuade a foundation to issue a quarterly intrusion index measuring with scholarly authority the degree to which your privacy is being violated. Number 5, pay cash. Pay cash. That's a good rule. Pay cash. Now, there's something that irritates me. I mean, since I'm being frisky, one of the stores that's in my neighborhood is a Harris Teeter grocery store. Now, evidently, at this grocery store, at Harris Teeter's, you can fill out an application for a VC card or some valued customer card or something like that. You fill out an application. Then if you present that card at the cash register, you get some discounts on some items and what have you. And when I go by there and buy some groceries, they say, do you have your card? Whatever it is, valued customer card or something like that, privileged customer card. I say, no, I'm one of your second-class customers. We don't have classes of customers. I said, of course you have classes of customers. You have those customers that have this card, and they get better prices than I do. Well, why don't you want the card? Because I don't want you to have a computer database with a record of everything I ever buy in this store. That's why. And the little cashier behind the cash register just looks at me and blinks those minimum wage eyes at me and has no clue what in the world I'm talking about. I get irritated with businesses out there that give you a special deal and special pricing if you will provide them with your phone number, your address, and all of that sort of nonsense. They have two classes of customers. You know, the customers that will surrender their privacy to the business enterprise, and the customers that say, hey, here's cash. You don't need to know all that much about me. Oh, so there were that's William Sapphire's examples on how to snatch back some of your privacy. Playing around with me right now, Jay on a car phone. Jay thinks he knows what Charlie Brown's father does for a living. How you doing, Jay?
I'm doing good, buddy. How are you?
Fine. By the way, is Charlie Brown's father still alive or not?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay, good, yeah. And what was it?
He was a barber.
Yeah, exactly right. Now we have somebody else on the phone that wanted to guess that Charlie Brown's father was a dentist. No, Charlie Brown's father was a barber.
100% right, buddy.
Yeah, now, okay, I got name an animal with striped skin.
Striped skin?
Yeah.
How about a white horse that just got beat?
No, I mean, seriously, an animal with striped skin.
Well, you know, I guess the idiot answer is zebra.
Nope, tiger.
Uh-oh.
A tiger has striped skin. Real quick, Sherry's on a car phone, and she's going to tell you what a twit is. The next time somebody calls you a twit, you'll say, huh? So, Sherry, what is a twit?
I believe it's an infant louse.
No.
No?
No, okay. A twit is a pregnant goldfish.
Oh, okay.
What?
Real good. Better than not signing up for those cards, it's better to screw with them. I go through and my Harris Teeter card, I signed up as Bill Clinton, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. It works every time. In Hawaii, they had another deal like that. I saved like $20 on chocolate-covered macadamia nuts and used Brandon Walsh at Beverly Hills 90210. Just made up stuff, and it works. That's with their database.
Well, that's an idea. That's an idea. Just give them a fake one. I think I'll go through and sign up as Ted Kaczynski.
They're not cross-referencing it.
Okay.
I like to do it at Harris Teeter when I buy condoms and malt liquor.
Okay. Okay.
Bill's partying again.
Yeah, okay. You be good. Geez. Okay. Now, here is the more phone...